Let's be honest, being ignored is one of the most confusing, gut-wrenching experiences when it comes to relationships. Have you found yourself constantly checking your phone, waiting for that message that never comes? Do you catch yourself replaying every interaction, analyzing what went wrong? The silence can feel deafening, and your mind starts to spiral. Did I say something wrong? Is he just not that into me? Here's the thing, when a man keeps ignoring you, it's rarely as simple as it seems. Most women fall into the trap of assuming it's because they're not enough somehow. But what if I told you this couldn't be further from the truth? What if this silence carries a deeper meaning, one you can understand and use to transform your approach to relationships entirely? In this video, we're not here for surface-level advice, no empty cliches about playing hard to get or just moving on. Instead, we'll dive into the psychology and dynamics of his behavior, revealing actionable insights rooted in emotional intelligence, stoicism, and personal growth. By the end, you won't just feel empowered, you'll have the tools to navigate this situation with grace and confidence. So, stay with me, because the answer to why he's ignoring you is far more intriguing than you think. And trust me, what you'll learn today could change everything. Ready? Let's dive into the first revelation. 1. The silent message behind his actions. When he keeps ignoring you, what's really going on? Is he truly uninterested, or is there more beneath the surface? Here's a truth that might surprise you. Silence often speaks louder than words, but it's not always saying what you think. People, men especially, tend to retreat into silence not because they don't care, but because they're overwhelmed or unsure of how to navigate their feelings. It's like standing in the eye of a storm, chaotic emotions swirling inside, but outwardly, everything looks calm, even indifferent. Have you considered that his silence could be a reflection of his inner world rather than a rejection of yours? Think about this. When you're overwhelmed, do you always know the right thing to say or do? Probably not. That's human nature. For men, especially those who lean into Stoicism, a philosophy of emotional resilience and control, silence becomes their armor. They withdraw to avoid vulnerability, to protect themselves from saying or doing something they might regret. But here's the catch, this withdrawal has nothing to do with your worth. In fact, his silence might mean he's struggling to process something you've said or done. Maybe you unknowingly touched a nerve or challenged him in a way that made him confront his own insecurities. Men often have an innate fear of appearing weak, and when they sense vulnerability creeping in, they retreat. This is Stoic dating in action, men striving to maintain emotional control, sometimes at the expense of communication. Does this make it right? No. But understanding the psychology behind his actions allows you to approach the situation from a place of clarity and strength, rather than self-doubt. Ask yourself, have I said or done something recently that might have caught him off guard? Could he be facing personal struggles unrelated to me? The key here is to resist jumping to conclusions. Silence doesn't always mean disinterest. It can signify confusion, hurt, or even care that he doesn't know how to express. But that doesn't mean you should wait endlessly for him to resurface. Instead, turn the focus inward. This is where Stoicism can transform your mindset. Rather than obsessing over his silence, ask yourself, how can I respond in a way that honors my peace and self-worth? One powerful approach is to embody Stoic principles yourself. Practice emotional resilience by detaching from the need for immediate answers. Understand that his behavior reflects his inner struggles, not your value. When you maintain your composure and refuse to chase, you demonstrate a level of emotional maturity that's both attractive and empowering. Remember, the energy you project is the energy you attract. If you approach this situation with dignity and self-assurance, you set a tone that either encourages him to step up or reveals that he's not ready for the kind of connection you deserve. Either way, you win. So, what's the silent message behind his actions? It's simple yet profound. His silence is about him, not you. And the moment you embrace this truth, you reclaim your power. Now, are you ready to uncover the next layer of this mystery? Stay with me, because what's coming next is even more revealing. 2. Protecting your emotional well-being. Let's pause for a moment and focus on you. How often have you let his silence spiral into a storm inside your mind? Be honest, have you stayed up late, staring at your phone, refreshing it just to see if his name pops up? Have you questioned yourself, picking apart every detail, wondering what you could have done differently? Here's the hard truth. The longer you let his silence dominate your thoughts, the more power you give it. And let's be real, this is not just exhausting, it's damaging to your mental and emotional well-being. But here's the good news, you have the power to stop this. His actions, or lack thereof, don't have to control your emotions. Let's break this down. When he ignores you, your first instinct might be to fix it. Maybe you think, if I just send one more text, I can explain. Or maybe he didn't see my last message, I'll just check in again. Sound familiar? But here's the thing. Chasing after someone who's pulling away only reinforces the wrong dynamic. You're essentially saying, my peace depends on your response, and that's a recipe for frustration and heartbreak. So what's the alternative? It's time to protect your emotional well-being, and that starts with a shift in perspective. First, recognize that his silence is not about you, whether he's dealing with personal issues, testing boundaries, or simply unsure of his feelings. His withdrawal reflects his inner state, not your worth. Repeat this to yourself. His silence doesn't define me. Next, practice emotional detachment. This doesn't mean you stop caring, but you stop letting his behavior dictate your emotional state. It's a principle rooted in Stoicism, learning to control what you can, yourself, and letting go of what you can't, his actions. Think about it. Why waste your energy agonizing over something beyond your control? Instead, redirect that energy toward nurturing your inner peace and confidence. Ask yourself, what can I do right now that makes me feel whole? Maybe it's spending time with friends who uplift you, diving into a passion project, or even just taking a long walk to clear your head. These actions might seem small, but they're powerful reminders that your life is full and complete, with or without his response. Now, here's an essential tip: set boundaries. If his silence is becoming a pattern, it's okay to communicate your feelings, but do it with dignity and grace. Instead of pleading for his attention, express your needs calmly. For example, I value clear communication and I'd like to understand where we stand. If you're not ready to talk, I respect that, but I also need to prioritize my own peace. This approach shows strength and self-respect, qualities that are deeply attractive in Stoic dating. It's not about issuing ultimatums or playing games, it's about standing firm in your worth. And here's the magic. When you protect your peace, you create space for the right energy to flow into your life. Finally, remember this: your emotional well-being is your responsibility. You can't control his actions, but you can control how you respond. By choosing to focus on self-care and personal growth, you not only protect your heart, but also elevate your energy to attract healthier connections, whether with him or someone new. Take a moment now to reflect. What steps can you take today to reclaim your peace and prioritize your happiness? Write them down and commit to them, because the sooner you take charge of your emotions, the sooner you'll realize you never needed his validation to feel whole. Now, before we move on, let's make this moment count. If this resonates with you, show some love. Hit the like button and comment number 1 if you're ready to prioritize your emotional well-being. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights that empower and inspire you. Let's keep growing together. Stay tuned, because in the next part, we'll explore how the energy you give to the world shapes what you receive, and why this is the key to unlocking the connection you truly desire. You won't want to miss it. 3. The energy you give is the energy you receive. Energy is everything. Think about it. Every word you speak, every action you take, and even the emotions you silently carry with you, all of it sends out signals. These signals have a way of coming back to you, shaping your experiences and relationships. When he keeps ignoring you, your energy becomes even more crucial. How you handle his silence doesn't just affect him, it shapes how the universe responds to you. So, let's dig deep into this concept. What kind of energy are you projecting right now? Be honest. Are you radiating love, confidence, and self-respect? Or are you caught in a cycle of doubt, frustration, and insecurity? Here's a powerful truth that's often overlooked. What you give to the world is what you'll receive in return. If you approach this situation from a place of desperation, constantly seeking answers, validation, or attention, you're likely to attract more of the same: confusion, indifference, and emotional chaos. On the flip side, when you radiate self-assurance and positivity, you create a magnetic force that naturally draws the right energy toward you. This is where the idea of stoicism comes into play again. Stoicism isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending you don't care. It's about mastering your reactions and channeling your energy toward what truly serves you. Imagine standing in the eye of a storm, calm and unshaken while everything around you swirls in chaos. That's the kind of energy you want to embody, especially when dealing with someone who's ignoring you. Let's put this into a real-world scenario. Suppose you've been texting him, but his responses are sporadic or worse, non-existent. Your natural instinct might be to send another message, hoping to nudge him into replying. But pause for a moment. What kind of energy does that action carry? Is it the energy of confidence and self-worth, or is it rooted in anxiety and fear? Now, consider this alternative. Instead of chasing his attention, focus on your own vibration. Ask yourself, what kind of energy do I want to receive? It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, if I just try harder, he'll come around. Instead, try this. Pull your energy back, not in a spiteful or manipulative way, but as a conscious act of self-preservation. When you stop overextending yourself, you not only protect your peace, but also give him space to reflect. Sometimes that space is exactly what's needed for clarity to emerge on both sides. And here's the beauty of this approach. It's not about him. Whether or not he responds, you've already shifted the energy dynamic in your favor. By focusing on your own growth and happiness, you're raising your vibration, and that attracts better experiences, not just in love, but in every aspect of life. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to radiate positivity and confidence, regardless of their circumstances? They're the ones who walk into a room and immediately light it up. That kind of energy is magnetic, and it comes from within. You don't need anyone's attention or approval to cultivate it. You just need to align with your true self. But how do you do that? Start by asking yourself these questions. What makes me feel truly alive? What do I value most in a relationship, and am I embodying those values myself? How can I create joy and fulfillment in my life independent of anyone else's actions? The answers to these questions are your roadmap. They'll guide you toward the kind of energy that not only transforms your experience with him, but also enhances your overall quality of life. Let's circle back to him for a moment. When a man sees that you're thriving, genuinely thriving, not just putting on a show, it sparks something inside him. Men are naturally drawn to women who are self-assured and self-sufficient. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect or have everything figured out, but it does mean owning your worth and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. Here's another powerful truth. People mirror the energy you give them. If you approach him from a place of neediness, he'll likely respond with avoidance. But if you engage with confidence and authenticity, you're more likely to inspire a genuine, meaningful connection. Think about it. Would you rather be with someone who's constantly doubting themselves or someone who radiates positivity and self-assurance? The same goes for him. When you embody the energy you want to attract, you naturally elevate the dynamic between you. So, what does this look like in practice? It might mean taking a step back from texting him and instead focusing on your own passions and hobbies. It might mean setting boundaries and communicating them clearly without fear of his reaction. Or it might mean deciding that his silence isn't aligned with the energy you want in your life and walking away with grace and dignity. Whatever path you choose, remember this: the energy you give is the energy you receive. When you prioritize self-love, self-respect, and personal growth, you create a ripple effect that transforms not just your relationships, but your entire life. And here's a final thought. The right person will never leave you questioning your worth. They'll see your light and match your energy, creating a connection that feels balanced and fulfilling. Until then, keep shining and trust that the universe has a way of bringing the right people into your life at the right time. Stay tuned for the next part, where we'll explore how to find the balance between holding on and letting go, a crucial skill for navigating situations like this. You won't want to miss it. 4. Learning when to let go and when to hold on. Letting go and holding on, two of the most complex, emotionally charged decisions you'll ever make in a relationship. When he keeps ignoring you, it's easy to feel stuck in limbo. Should you keep fighting for his attention, hoping he'll come around? Or is it time to step back, protect your peace, and move forward? This dilemma often pulls at the heartstrings, leaving you oscillating between hope and frustration. But here's the truth. Mastering the art of knowing when to let go and when to hold on is one of the most empowering lessons you can learn, not just in relationships but in life. Let's start with a tough question. Are you holding on because you believe in the connection, or because you're afraid of losing it? It's a subtle but crucial distinction. When you're holding on out of fear of being alone, fear of rejection, or fear of starting over, you're not acting from a place of strength. Instead, you're clinging to something that might not be serving you simply because letting go feels too daunting. But here's the thing, holding on to something or someone that's causing you more pain than joy isn't love, it's self-sabotage. And deep down, you already know this. So why is it so hard to let go? The answer often lies in attachment. When we invest time, energy, and emotions into someone, we form a bond. That bond makes us want to stay, even when the connection is no longer fulfilling. It's as if your heart is saying, I've come this far, I can't give up now. But let's challenge that narrative. Imagine you're holding a rope. At first it feels sturdy and reliable, but over time it starts to fray. The tighter you grip, the more it digs into your hands, causing pain. Yet you keep holding on, thinking, if I let go, I'll lose my grip entirely. But what happens if you loosen your hold? The pain eases. And if the rope was never meant to support you, letting go completely frees you to find something stronger, something that won't hurt you in the process. This is what letting go looks like in relationships. It's not about giving up, it's about choosing yourself. It's about recognizing that your happiness and peace are worth more than staying attached to someone who isn't meeting you halfway. But what about the flip side? What if there's still potential in the connection? What if he's ignoring you because he's overwhelmed or unsure, not because he doesn't care? How do you know when to hold on? This is where balance comes in. Holding on doesn't mean chasing him or compromising your boundaries. It means staying open to the possibility of resolution while still prioritizing your own well-being. Ask yourself these questions. Is he someone who consistently adds value to my life, or am I holding on to who I wish? Has he shown signs of effort or care in the past, or has this pattern of silence been ongoing? Am I holding on because I genuinely believe in this connection, or because I'm afraid to let go? These questions are designed to help you separate emotion from reality. Love is powerful, but it shouldn't come at the cost of your self-respect or happiness. Now, let's talk about timing. If he's ignoring you, it might feel like the ball is entirely in his court. But that's not true. You always have the power to decide what happens next. If you believe the relationship is worth fighting for, give him space while setting clear boundaries for yourself. For example, you might decide to wait a specific amount of time for him to reach out before reevaluating the connection. But here's the key. During that time, focus on yourself. Invest in your growth, passions, and happiness. This isn't about playing games or making him miss you. It's about ensuring that your life remains full and vibrant, regardless of his actions. When you're thriving independently, you'll be in a much better position to decide whether holding on is truly worth it. And if you choose to let go, know that it's not an act of defeat, it's an act of courage. Letting go doesn't erase the good memories or diminish the connection you shared. It simply acknowledges that you deserve a love that meets you where you are without leaving you guessing or hurting. Letting go also creates space for something new. Whether it's a deeper connection with yourself, new opportunities, or a healthier relationship, releasing what no longer serves you opens the door for growth and abundance. Here's another perspective. Letting go and holding on aren't always mutually exclusive. Sometimes you let go emotionally detaching from the outcome and focusing on your own happiness while still holding on to the possibility of reconciliation. This balance allows you to honor your feelings without sacrificing your peace. One of the most empowering aspects of Stoicism is its emphasis on focusing on what you can control. You can't control whether he chooses to communicate, but you can control how you respond. You can't control whether he's ready for the kind of connection you want, but you can control your decision to wait or to walk away. The beauty of this mindset is that it puts you in the driver's seat. You're no longer at the mercy of his actions or inactions. Instead, you're making deliberate choices that align with your values and goals. So, how do you find the strength to let go when necessary? Start by reminding yourself that you are whole with or without him. Your worth isn't tied to his attention, and your happiness isn't dependent on his presence. Practice gratitude for what the connection has taught you, even if it didn't turn out the way you hoped. Every relationship, whether it lasts a lifetime or just a season, serves a purpose. Sometimes, that purpose is to teach you more about yourself and what you truly need in a partner. As you navigate this decision, be gentle with yourself. Letting go or holding on isn't always black and white. It's okay to feel conflicted, to take your time, and to lean on trusted friends or mentors for support. Above all, trust yourself. You have the wisdom to know what's best for you and the strength to follow through. And when you choose to act from a place of self-respect and authenticity, you'll find that the right path always reveals itself. In the next part, we'll delve into why some people avoid the truth and how understanding this can bring clarity to situations where silence feels deafening. Stay with me, this journey is just getting started. 5. The truth isn't always easy to hear. There's a saying that the truth will set you free, but first it might break your heart. And when he keeps ignoring you, it's often because the truth, whatever it may be, feels too heavy for him to carry. But here's the twist. His avoidance of the truth says more about him than it does about you. Have you ever noticed how some people would rather hide behind silence than confront the reality of their emotions? Why is that? The answer lies in the discomfort that truth often brings. Facing the truth requires courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to sit with uncomfortable feelings, qualities that not everyone possesses. For some men, ignoring you isn't about malice or disinterest, it's about fear. Fear of confrontation, fear of admitting their shortcomings, or even fear of the emotional intensity that a deeper connection demands. Instead of having a difficult conversation, they retreat into silence, hoping the problem will solve itself or that you'll eventually give up. But here's the thing. Avoiding the truth doesn't make it go away. It simply leaves you in a state of confusion and uncertainty, forced to piece together a puzzle with missing pieces. And let's be honest, this is exhausting. You deserve clarity, even if the truth isn't what you hoped to hear. So, what's the solution? How do you deal with someone who's too afraid to face the truth, yet unwilling to let you go completely? First, it's essential to recognize that you can't force someone to be honest if they're not ready. The truth is a choice, and it's one he has to make for himself. But you can. For example, instead of demanding answers, try saying something like, "I value honesty in my relationships, even when it's difficult. I'd rather hear the truth, no matter what it is, than be left wondering." This approach shows maturity and respect, making it easier for him to open up. But here's the catch. Even with the most compassionate approach, he might still resist. And that's okay. Not everyone is capable of facing their emotions, and you can't control how he chooses to handle his. What you can, if his silence continues, take it as a sign that he's not ready for the kind of connection you're seeking. And that's not a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of his readiness. Remember, the right relationship will never leave you feeling like you have to chase the truth or beg for clarity. Now, let's talk about your truth. While his behavior might be frustrating, it also offers an opportunity for growth. What does his silence reveal about your needs and boundaries? Are you prioritizing communication and emotional honesty in your relationships? Are you willing to let go of someone who isn't meeting you halfway, even if it's difficult? These questions can be uncomfortable, but they're essential for your journey of self-discovery. The more you understand your own truth, the less you'll tolerate behaviors that undermine it. One of the most powerful lessons in Stoicism is learning to embrace reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. This means accepting that some people will avoid the truth, not because they don't care about you, but because they're not equipped to handle it. Instead of taking it personally, use it as a reminder to seek connections that align with your values. Let's pause for a moment. How are you feeling as we explore this? Are you starting to see the power in reclaiming your narrative, even when someone else tries to leave it unfinished? If this resonates with you, let's take a moment to connect. Hit the like button and comment number 1 if you're ready to prioritize truth and clarity in your relationships. And don't forget to subscribe for more empowering insights like this. So, what happens next? Once you've acknowledged the truth of the situation, whether it's his fear, his lack of readiness, or his inability to communicate, you're left with a choice. Will you continue to wait for him to find his courage, or will you choose to move forward with your own? Here's a powerful perspective. Choosing yourself isn't a rejection of him, it's an affirmation of your worth. By prioritizing honesty and emotional depth, you're setting a standard for the kind of relationship you want and deserve, and the right person will rise to meet that standard without hesitation. As you navigate this journey, remember that every challenge holds a lesson. His silence might teach you patience, resilience, or the importance of setting boundaries. It might show you areas where you've been too forgiving or where you need to stand firmer in your truth. And here's the beauty of it all. Every step you take toward understanding your truth brings you closer to the connection you're truly seeking. Whether that connection is with him, someone new, or even yourself, it will be rooted in authenticity and mutual respect. So, when he avoids the truth, let it be his burden, not yours. Carrying his silence doesn't serve you, but embracing your truth always will. Stay tuned, because in the next section, we'll explore how to transform these challenges into opportunities for growth and connection. You've got this. And remember, the truth, no matter how difficult, always has a way of setting you free. 6. Building resilience in the face of uncertainty. Life is full of uncertainties, and relationships are no exception. When he keeps ignoring you, the lack of clarity can feel like an emotional maze, one that leaves you questioning yourself and the connection you once thought you had. But here's the truth. Uncertainty isn't the enemy. It's a powerful teacher, a chance to build resilience and grow stronger, not despite the silence, but because of it. So how do you navigate this emotional fog and come out stronger on the other side? Let's dive into the mindset and tools that will help you not just survive, but thrive in the face of uncertainty. The first step is acceptance. It's natural to resist what feels uncomfortable or confusing, but fighting against reality only deepens the struggle. Take a moment to reflect. What are you resisting in this situation? Is it the fear of losing him, the uncertainty of where you stand, or perhaps the discomfort of not having control? Identifying these feelings is the first step toward understanding them, and understanding leads to acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up or settling for less. It's about recognizing what is within your control and what isn't. You can't force him to respond or clarify his feelings, but you can choose how you react. This shift in focus is at the heart of resilience. Instead of expending energy on things you can't change, direct it toward building your inner strength. One way to cultivate resilience is through mindfulness. When uncertainty feels overwhelming, it's easy to spiral into overthinking, replaying past conversations, and imagining worst-case scenarios. But mindfulness teaches us to stay present, grounding ourselves in the here and now. Try this. When the silence starts to consume you, pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Another essential aspect of resilience is self-compassion. It's tempting to blame yourself when someone ignores you, to think, what did I do wrong? Here's an empowering perspective. Every challenge, including this one, is an opportunity to grow. Think of resilience as a muscle. Each time you face uncertainty and choose to respond with grace and strength, you're strengthening that muscle. Over time, you'll find that what once felt unbearable now feels manageable. And as you build resilience, you'll become less reliant on external validation, creating a solid foundation of self-worth that no one can shake. But let's take this a step further. Building resilience isn't just about weathering the storm, it's about transforming it. What if you could use this experience to deepen your understanding of yourself, your needs, and your boundaries? Ask yourself, what is this situation teaching me about my capacity for patience? How can I use this silence as an opportunity for personal growth? What do I truly want in a relationship, and does this dynamic align with those desires? These questions are powerful because they shift your focus from him to you. They remind you that your happiness and growth are not dependent on his actions, they're your responsibility. This is where the philosophy of Stoicism comes into play. By embracing uncertainty and focusing on what you can control, you cultivate a sense of peace and empowerment that isn't swayed by external circumstances. Now, let's talk about perspective. When you're in the midst of uncertainty, it's easy to feel like the situation is all-consuming. But take a step back and consider the bigger picture. Will this moment define your life, or is it simply a chapter in your story? Resilience comes from recognizing that no matter how challenging the present may feel, it's just one part of a much larger journey. I think about the times in your life when you faced difficulties before. How did you overcome them? What strengths did you discover within yourself? Chances are those experiences helped shape the person you are today. The same is true for this moment. While it might feel painful now, it has the potential to teach you lessons that will serve you for years to come. Another powerful tool for building resilience is gratitude. This might sound counterintuitive. How can you feel grateful when you're being ignored? But gratitude isn't about denying your pain, it's about finding the silver linings even in difficult situations. For example, you might feel grateful for the opportunity to practice patience, for the clarity this silence is bringing about what you truly want, or for the chance to strengthen your emotional independence. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant, creating a sense of balance and perspective. Let's not forget the importance of community. Resilience doesn't mean going it alone. Surround yourself with people who uplift and support you, whether it's friends, family, or mentors. Share your feelings with those you trust and allow them to remind you of your worth. Sometimes hearing someone else say, "You deserve better," is the affirmation you need to fully believe it yourself. As you navigate this journey, remember that resilience isn't about perfection. There will be moments when you feel frustrated, uncertain, or even defeated. And that's okay. What matters is that you keep going, trusting that each step you take brings you closer to clarity and peace. So, what does resilience look like in action? It's choosing to respond to his silence with dignity rather than desperation. It's focusing on your own growth rather than waiting for him to change. It's setting boundaries that protect your peace, even if it means letting go of the connection. And most importantly, it's knowing that no matter what happens, you are enough. In the next part, we'll explore the transformative power of love, how it can unlock doors you never knew existed, even in the face of uncertainty. Because while resilience helps you endure the silence, love, especially self-love, is what will ultimately guide you toward the happiness you deserve. Stay tuned because this next chapter is where the magic happens. 7. Final reflection. It's about your growth, not his silence. When he keeps ignoring you, the silence can feel like a void, a space filled with unanswered questions, unmet expectations, and unspoken emotions. But what if that silence isn't the end of something, but the beginning of something greater? What if, instead of focusing on what you're not receiving, you chose to shift your perspective to what you're gaining? Growth, clarity, and an unshakable sense of self. Here's the truth. Every moment of uncertainty, every unanswered text, and every confusing interaction is an opportunity to learn more about yourself. When a man retreats into silence, it's easy to assume it's about you, your actions, your words, your worth. But often, his silence reflects his internal struggles, his inability to confront vulnerability, or his lack of readiness for the kind of connection you seek. And that's his journey, not yours. So let's flip the script. Instead of asking, "Why is he ignoring me?" ask, "What is this experience teaching me?" First, let's talk about patience. When someone pulls away, the instinctive reaction is to chase, to seek answers, clarity, or closure. But patience teaches you to sit with the discomfort of not knowing, trusting that the right path will reveal itself in time. This doesn't mean waiting passively for him to respond. It means allowing space for both him to navigate his emotions and you to focus on your own growth. Patience is not weakness, it's a profound act of strength. Next, consider resilience. Every time you resist the urge to overthink, to blame yourself, or to compromise your boundaries, you're building emotional resilience. You're proving to yourself that your peace is non-negotiable, that your worth isn't defined by someone else's actions. This is the essence of Stoicism, cultivating inner strength in the face of external challenges. By embracing this philosophy, you're not only navigating his silence, you're transforming it into a catalyst for personal empowerment. But perhaps the most powerful lesson is self-respect. When he ignores you, it's a reminder to honor your own needs and boundaries. Ask yourself, am I settling for less than I deserve? Am I allowing his silence to dictate my happiness? If the answer is yes, then it's time to reclaim your power. Self-respect isn't about walking away out of spite, it's about choosing yourself with love and dignity. Now, let's explore the concept of clarity. His silence, while painful, might be offering you exactly what you need. A moment to pause, reflect, and reassess. What do you truly want in a relationship? What are your non-negotiables? And most importantly, does this dynamic align with your values and desires? Clarity isn't always comfortable, but it's necessary for growth. Here's a powerful perspective. The silence you fear might be the space you need to realign with your true self. When someone pulls away, it's not an invitation to chase, it's an opportunity to center yourself, to focus on what brings you joy, and to reconnect with your inner peace. The energy you give to yourself in these moments is the foundation for attracting the love and connection you deserve. And let's not forget the transformative power of love, starting with self-love. Often we look to others to fill voids within us, to validate our worth, or to soothe our insecurities. But true love begins within. When you nurture your own heart, when you treat yourself with kindness and compassion, you create a magnetic energy that draws others toward you, not out of neediness, but out of genuine connection. So, how do you cultivate this self-love? Start small. Celebrate your strengths, acknowledge your growth, and remind yourself daily of your worth. Surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. Engage in activities that light you up, that make you feel alive and whole. These acts of self-love aren't just about healing, they're about thriving. As you embrace this journey, remember that the right person will never leave you questioning your value. They'll communicate openly, show up consistently, and match your energy. And if he's not that person, it's okay. Letting go isn't a failure, it's an act of courage, an affirmation that you're willing to create space for what truly aligns with your heart. So, what's next? As you move forward, carry this truth with you. His silence is not a reflection of your worth, but of his journey. Your path is your own, and it's filled with infinite possibilities for growth, connection, and love. Trust the process, honor your truth, and keep moving toward the life you deserve. Before we part ways, take a moment to reflect. What lesson will you carry with you from this experience? How will you choose to grow, to love, and to live? Let's keep this conversation going. Hit the like button, comment number 1 if this resonated with you, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights that empower your heart and mind. You've got this. Here's to your journey. May it be filled with clarity, courage, and a love that reflects the incredible person you are. As we wrap up this journey together, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've uncovered. When he keeps ignoring you, it's not just about the silence, it's about what you choose to do with it. Will you let it define your worth? Or will you use it as an opportunity to grow, to rise, and to realign with your own power? You've learned that his silence often reflects his struggles, not your shortcomings. You've explored how to protect your emotional well-being, how the energy you give shapes the energy you receive, and how to discern when to hold on and when to let go. You've embraced the challenge of building resilience and understood the value of self-love, as the foundation for any meaningful connection. But most importantly, you've realized that your happiness, your peace, and your growth are always within your control. No one else holds the key to your fulfillment, you do. So what's the next step? It's time to take everything you've learned and put it into action. Prioritize your peace, elevate your standards, and trust that the right connections will flow into your life at the right time. Whether this chapter with him ends in closure, reconciliation, or a decision to move forward without him, know that you have the strength and wisdom to navigate it with grace. Remember, every experience, whether painful or joyful, teaches you something valuable. And while his silence might feel like a void now, it's also an invitation to step into your power, to honor your worth, and to embrace the incredible person you're becoming. Now, I want to hear from you. If this message resonated, drop a number 1 in the comments and share your thoughts. What lesson will you carry with you from this experience? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more insights that will guide you on your journey to love and self-discovery. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your story. Remember, you are strong, you are worthy, and your path is unfolding exactly as it's meant to. Here's to the next step of your beautiful, resilient journey. Until next time, take care and keep shining.